Howdy everybody, how y'all doing? And welcome to the Ice House, where we try to keep things cool, calm, collected, and mostly a bit chill. And well, this has definitely been a week, right? And we've definitely had a lot of chill here on the east side of the country, on the central parts of America. We've got this big freeze that showed up in this cold front that we weren't necessarily expecting, right? And I know there's you guys up north that you can deal with the weather a little bit differently, and you've kind of been dealing with it for a lot longer than we have. But when the ambient temperature in Kansas or Kentucky is colder than Anchorage, it really says something. Because while there's a lot of you guys up north that your cities are built with the infrastructure to handle all this, you know, being in Texas and some of these states down here, we're not built for the heavy freezes. And I don't know if you remember a few years ago when when Texas froze, right? Because there was the whole thing about going on ERCOT and being on our own system, and that didn't work out so well initially, right? That was kind of rough. And so, you know, for all these people over here that well, when you take for granted the infrastructure that might break, as opposed to the other disruptions of normal everyday life that we're not used to down here, it's a lot, you know? It's a lot to deal with something outside of our norm, right? And it's kind of like when, you know, it's just the differences. Like when somebody from up north decides to come down here, say come to Texas, and you're like, beware of the ants, and they're like, I don't care about ants. Ants are fine. And they step in the ant pile, and all of a sudden, they realize why they're called fire ants, right? Because they hurt a lot for days. So, you know, it's one of those things that doesn't exactly translate one-to-one. And we definitely have our learned differences in understanding our regional issues, right? And unfortunately, speaking of fire, you know, this week is not what we expected over in California, and, well, it's tragic, right? And I know there's people that want to mock people for saying send your thoughts and prayers, or juju, or vibes, or whatever it is. There's a lot of people who are hurting really bad, and there's probably a lot of you that have family out there, or friends that have been affected, and it's not funny, and it's not a reason to, I don't know, make a joke. I mean, there's some jokes to be made. I mean, there's that whole thing. I don't know. There will be fallout, and there are things that will be funny in time. But for now, I really hope that everyone is safe. And there's a lot of loss of, well, a lot of cherished memories, a lot of landscape, a lot of physical places that are now burnt to a crisp, right? And it's not going to be easy to go back to. And I know a lot of people, well, they lost a lot. So I don't really care about your politics, your religion, and a lot of things. It's, if we can be kind and understanding, and there's a lot of people that are going to be outraged and emotional and frustrated because they're looking for answers, and rightfully so. And unless you're just using this as a reason to be an idiot or be mean to people, which by all means, I mean, I don't like internet trolls, so I mean, there are some that are okay, but you know what I'm talking about. The mean ones, like if they bring it on themselves, it's one thing, but for the people who are hurting and trying to process, we can get a little grace and kindness. And I know celebrities will probably say celebrity things, and, well, they'll deal with that later, right? Yeah. So, I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say, because I value humanity and puppetry, and, well, it's hard. It's hard to watch. So, that being said, I originally when I was thinking about titling this video earlier in the week, you know, before all this kind of fell out, because like I said, I really like the stillness of the winter, and I joke about not liking Christmas and waiting for all of it to be over, and waiting for January 1st or 2nd when I can just be a bah humbug in the stillness of winter. And, well, we're not getting that, because first off, in Texas, it was 70 degrees until Sunday, and then it dropped down to like 29 degrees, and that was just too cold. And I got a head cold, which is why I've kind of been a lot of commission. But this week was not peaceful at all. It's been a lot. But that being said, what I was thinking about is titling this video "The Meta is Changing," right? And I really do think there's a lot of changes going on, not just because of this week, but a lot of things that have kind of been seeing the writing on the wall since, well, the election and the political landscape is changing. And I also could have called this, as things change, they stay the same, right? Because with the changing of the guard, right? There's a lot of people that are changing their tune, and I mean, we've seen this. There's some people that are going to double down, and there's some people that, well, they just kind of want to ride the waves of whatever's happening and go along with enough of who's in charge so that they can have their own autonomy and kind of keep from getting too much scrutiny and remain in operation, right? Trying to fit the confines and fit the new rules and move along, right? And I think there's a lot of people who probably have receipts because of how outspoken and things they've said that, well, just like anything, if they about face too quickly, probably get some feedback on that. Right. So, but when I was thinking the meta is changing, about that time I realized that the company, Meta, is also changing. See? They announced earlier this week that they're not going to be using the fact checkers in the way that they used to. So, the meta is literally changing. So, I mean, that works for a title, right? Not that salacious. But I also think, well, even before this week, there was stuff about studios, the entertainment industry, building stuff in Vegas and kind of moving some stuff around from LA anyway. And I think when it comes to, and not just LA, like in Florida, and other people have been, in Vegas, but there's people that have been kind of trying to maybe leave that space anyway. So that's an interesting thing. But even so, when it comes to video games, the AAA games and some of those big studios, we had so many shutdowns and so many, well, people lost jobs in the video game industry, and those devs are going somewhere else or trying to figure out what to do. And I think we're going to start seeing more and more of games and entertainment that people might actually want to buy because, well, there's people out there that actually want to connect with an audience. And now I want to go into it more on another video later, but some of these free-to-play games are really becoming a placeholder for all these AAA games that are not working out, right? Because, I mean, I know they want to talk about games online as a service and things like Fortnite, which you can say what you will. As a casual gamer, I enjoy it because it's one of these free-to-play games that you can invest money if you want to, but you're not getting an advantage, right? It's not like a gacha game that you have to grind and get, the currency so that you can get the limited time character, blah blah blah, right? Which I get the appeal of those too. Don't get me wrong. They've been around for a while. Like microtransactions is nothing new, and they get you with the season pass and all that stuff. But when it comes to when it comes to a $70 game that nobody wants to play, or a game that's free to play, and then you can kind of test out and see if you like, and then decide later down the line if, hey, I want to invest money in this, or I want that, that limited characters, and I ran out of free pulls, so I'll spend some extra money to try and get that character, or hey, there's this cool limited time cosmetic, right? Maybe I want that because you enjoyed playing the game with your friends and with the gaming community, that all of a sudden you have this thing that's like you said, it's a game as a service. It's not physical media, which I definitely advocate for physical media if I'm going to spend too much money on it. But at the same time, it's like tipping your waiters or your bartenders because they gave you good service. And I don't think that these free-to-play games are going to take over the industry necessarily. But, like I said, they're great placeholders. And if they don't get something good enough out there soon, these placeholders might be big contenders. And I do think we're going to see a lot more of these free-to-play games being put out on console and multi-platform. Designed more for console gameplay, because there's an opening there, and it's gonna get filled. Because when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to, wanting something to do with our lives, the escapism, we're gonna find something to fill the time, and we're gonna find ways to spend money on things that we enjoy. Because I think that's just the rabbit trails of life and humanity, puppetry, that we just enjoy investing in things. And there's the day-to-day stuff, and then there's the things we do to take a break from them. So whatever it is, there's always going to be an opening there. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but like I said, the meta is changing. But as people, we want to have fun, we want to enjoy life, and we want to break from the normal often enough, and find that sort of balance. Because if we get too caught up in our entertainment and fun, it doesn't become entertainment and fun anymore. It's not the escape. So that's a tricky thing to figure out, but we can talk more about that later. So anyway, I just want to say that I really do. I hurt for the people who have had so much loss this week, and they're not going to be able to escape what's going on in their lives for a while. So I really hope that this finding peace and finding a new norm isn't as awful as it could be for some of them, and they're rebuilding their lives. And for the rest of us, like I said, have a little kindness. And then just going forward, as we all get back to our norms, let's find some fun escapism. And I don't know, we'll see where this new meta takes us, right? I think even in all of our entertainment and fantasy that, we kind of all want the same things. And we kind of always wanted the same thing. And even though we find different ways to, like I said, fill the void, and different games or options or styles of things, and we grow and we change to wanting, different offset. Like if you played a game like Zelda for hours and hours and hours, that your next game might be a looter shooter or something that's quicker. But at the same time, you're still trying to fulfill the same simple principle, algorithm, equation of trying to function and trying to be real and authentic and trying to escape the world once in a while. So we'll see how that plays out. And so if you have any thoughts, put them down below. And you can like and subscribe and do all that stuff. And till next time, stay safe, and let's try to have some fun while we try to work through all this stuff. So, until next time, bye!